What's up, everybody? It's the Power Rankings Podcast, aka the Power Rankings Show. I'm your host, Elliot Harrison. I'm joined, as always, by the irrepressible Marcus _Mosher, who has somewhere to be today. Just want you guys to know if the picks are going a little fast.
We've got a lot of games to talk about. We've got 16 games to talk about, buddy.
Can I make a prediction since this is a predictions podcast?
Sure.
I think Marcus has to go to the DMV today, and he just doesn't want to say it. But how far do you have to go to the DMV where you live?
It's like an hour drive. It's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the farthest you go to eat, like at the kind of restaurant, like if you and your wife really want to go to a special place that y'all both love, that's not just like Dairy Queen?
You're saying like the Texas Roadhouse? Like how far away is the closest Texas Roadhouse? It's a good hour for us. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little disturbing that there's a Texas Roadhouse near upstate New York. That bothers me.
It shouldn't bother you. They're all over the place. And they're busy. You got to put in a reservation like 3 days ahead of time. But man.
If y'all hear some clanking in the background, it's my sister-in-law washing dishes.
I just hear talking in the background. This is so good.
It just adds a little Christmas cheer. I mean, it's Christmas, right? It's a Christmas.
I'm really glad that you dressed up for Christmas, by the way. Yeah, it's very nice.
Listen, I wear white because you didn't do it today. Today you look like Steve Martin when he's all huddled up in planes, trains, and automobiles after the car is, or maybe it's John Candy that was dressed like that. Yeah, I have to wear white to offset. You're always going dark, bro.
That's right.
So let's a couple things just real quick off the top. More COVID news in the NFL. This is the way it's been the last few weeks. Of course, they made a change to how they're going to handle COVID, but at this point, Marcus, I think everyone is a little bit. I don't want to say weary of this. I think everyone around the country is weary of it. But it makes it really hard week to week to know where we sit, don't you think, from a football standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, we're picking these games here on Thursday afternoon, and there's a good chance that by the time we get to the games on Sunday, there's going to be some big guys missing, right? Like, it sounds weird, but there's going to be 2 or 3 quarterbacks that probably test positive here before the game starts, and it's just kind of the reality of the NFL that we're living in right now.
Right. Well, other than that, we obviously have a strange NFL week as is with the games playing out the way they did on Monday and Tuesday. Don't know if you guys out there got to see Eagles, Washington, or Seattle Rams. You didn't really miss a whole lot, I would say, other than if you didn't catch it, the Rams won. Cooper Kupp might be the underrated MVP pick. He's not underrated. Everyone knows he's good. His season numbers continue to be excellent. The Eagles offensive line dominated against Washington. We did our Power Rankings podcast before those games, but Marcus and I both had the Rams and the Eagles winning. As far as last week, went 13-3 on straight up picks, missed the Saints game, a couple others. I got the Bengals over the Broncos right over Marcus, but Marcus is like seriously rooting hard for the Bengals to make the playoffs.
You betcha I was. You betcha I am. Bengals and Chargers. Those are my 2 teams. I just want in the playoffs. I really want a Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert round 1 game. I've been saying that for the last couple of weeks now. We're not too far away from it.
It's possible. It's possible. The issue obviously is the Bengals schedule. Really, this thing lays out the best for the Steelers, the team you dislike. I'm kind of hoping the Browns win the division, but the chances of that are, I'd probably say 1 in 10.
They got to win their next 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm not saying they can't do it. A lot of grit shown by that team in a loss against the Raiders. That said, let's get started with our picks for this week. So I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
All right. Our Thursday night game, it's a good one. It's the San Francisco 49ers against the Titans. 49ers, 3-point road favorites in this game.
Isn't this the kind of game that you really wish Derrick Henry was healthy for?
Yes.
Given the stylistic approach of these two teams, I think if you said, hey, the Titans and 49ers are 2 of the more unique teams in the NFL, I would absolutely agree. They have a little bit more of an old school approach to football. It works for them. They're coached in a different way. Obviously, Mike Vrabel came from the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Shanahan is known as the OC for the Falcons in the 2016 Super Bowl. How are you seeing this game, though, without Derrick Henry and all the problems the Titans have had lining up guys outside skill positions?
Yeah, they are getting back Julio Jones, who left last week with a hamstring injury. I don't know how he's able to play this week. I wouldn't imagine that he's going to be 100%, but they're also getting back A.J. Brown. And I do think that matters because they've had a hard time getting guys open on the outside. However, the bigger problem comes on the offensive line in this one, right? 49ers, excellent on the defensive line. Roger Saffold, their guard, out due to COVID. They are down 3 right tackles due to injuries and COVID this week. I lean the 49ers here because I just don't know how the Titans are going to protect Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, that's an issue. One of the things they have going for them, they're second in rush defense. They're 10th in yards allowed. That's how the NFL ranks defenses. They don't do it on points to a lot of our consternation out there in the football world. But the Titans' run defense has been good. If you watch the Titans, for example, against the Rams on Sunday night, you've seen how that defensive line can impose its will. Or how about against Buffalo earlier this year when they just needed a yard and they couldn't get it because of Simmons? They're a team that can win the line of scrimmage, which is what you have to do against the 49ers. Because more often than not, the 49ers are going to win the line of scrimmage against you. So you like the Niners in this one. Is that what I'm gathering here?
I do. I think I like them by at least a touchdown.
How about this spread?
3. I think the 49ers will cover it. I do. They're playing really well. I think there are 3 straight games of at least 30 points. This is the best Jimmy Garoppolo has looked probably since that Super Bowl run. So I do like the 49ers here.
I would say the over-under on this game should be around 45 and a half. Now, Vegas might have gone a little higher, but that's what I think it should be.
44 and a half. Pretty close.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good number.
Very good. All right, let's move on. That's a good one, by the way. That's one of the best games of the week.
It's a really good Thursday game. Next one, Browns-Packers on Christmas Day. The Packers are 8-point favorites in this game.
Man, that's a big line. That's a big line.
Can we let's do some injury updates here for Cleveland. Baker Mayfield, the belief is that he is going to be cleared and played. He has not been cleared yet, so he has not practiced yet. Basically, he's not practiced what? It's almost 2 weeks, and you're going to come into a game cold playing the Packers. That's not great. Myles Garrett is, they said, 50-50 at best to play this game. They lost their starting center today due to COVID, J.C. Treader. It's just a lot of things mounting up against Cleveland here. That's why I love the Packers to cover that spread.
Yeah, look, we've talked about the Browns and their playoff hopes. It's not looking good. They need to win all 3 games. I would say this is the hardest of the 3 games for them, especially given the fact that they're having to go on the road. Mm-hmm. I'm with you on this. The Browns are like your version of the Bengals for me. Like, I'm pulling hard for the Browns. You're pulling hard for the Bengals. And honestly, man, I don't think it's going to happen for either one of us. I'm going to go with you on this game. Let's go to the next one.
So wait, you think the Steelers are going to win the division too?
I do. I mean, honestly, given the Browns' health situation, I don't think they match up well with the Packers anyway. The one thing I would love to see the Browns do is run right at them. You know, the Packers were without Kenny Clark. I think it's possible that they could do that. But at the end of the day, it's hard to have faith in the Browns, especially given we just did a power ranking show. Yep. Who is the number 1 team? Green Bay Packers, and you're playing at their place. Maybe if this game were in Cleveland, I would take a chance.
Our next game, this is a fantastic game on a Christmas night. It's the Indianapolis Colts against the Arizona Cardinals. I would say this is your Colts against my Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
Your Colts are 1-point underdogs on the road.
It would be easy to take the Colts here, but I think the Cardinals I don't want to say they're a desperate football team, but they're real. And they're
I was going to say, doesn't it feel like for the Colts that they just needed to win one of the 2 games between the Patriots and the Cardinals, right? And as long as they did that, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah. The problem for the Cardinals here. So, me, I like to diverge from analytics sometimes to talk about the emotion of the game and where a football team is. I think the Cardinals need this one more than the Colts, even though their record is better and they're in a much better playoff position. People are starting to doubt this football team, and the Rams could very well win the NFC West, putting the Cardinals in a wild card position in which they would have to go on the road. But they don't match up well, Marcus, against the Colts.
No.
The Colts' strength plays to the Cardinals' weakness. The Colts will be able to run the football on the Cardinals. I guarantee you, Jonathan Taylor will have 100 yards rushing in this game. Am I seeing this wrong in your eyes?
I just think I trust Kyler a little bit more. I'm not sure I trust Carson Wentz in a primetime road game yet. We saw even last week, only completed 5 passes. No Ryan Kelly, the center for the Colts. Their right guard, Mark Lipinski, is out due to COVID. I think I just like the Cardinals a little bit here at home.
Yeah, when you're talking about interior alignment, it may not be sexy, but you and I talk about it a lot. In running games still matter. Maybe running backs don't matter, but running games do. And when your interior line is out, that's a big problem. If this game were in Indy, I would take Indy. I'm going to take Arizona on this one with you. I'm not going to touch the over-under because I really have no idea what it should be on this game.
That it's 48.5. I'm so excited for this game. I can't wait to have a nice cold glass of eggnog, sit back and watch this game.
Are you going to wear a Dickie? Are you going to go with the beige sweater with the black Dickie underneath?
Probably, yeah.
That there's snot. Ain't he cute?
Love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, next one. It's the Detroit Lions against the Atlanta Falcons. The Lions are 5.5-point underdogs in this game.
Gosh. Do you just be honest, do you kind of want to pick the Lions? Is there a little piece of you somewhere that wants to pick the Lions?
A little bit. They are getting DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams back this week, but I think I'd take the Falcons here.
You know what, man? What do we think about Jared Goff?
Jared Goff against Matt Ryan. This is a tricky game. I would stay away from the spread, but I think I'll take the Falcons to win.
Man.
Right, I know you want to, right? Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yes.
Somewhat against my better judgment. I'm going to will this team to victory because I wussed out on willing the Browns to victory at Lambeau. So
I love it. It's so good.
Okay.
Our next game, an absolutely phenomenal 1:00 game. The Baltimore Ravens against the Cincinnati Bengals for sole place of the AFC North. Ravens 3-point underdogs on the road. I'm going to go ahead and assume, Elliot, that line means that Lamar Jackson's not playing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. If you watch Tyler Huntley on Sunday, or at least what I saw good decision-making. He generally knew where he wanted to go with the football. The football generally came out on time. Look, was he surveying the field and was he a field general out there? I wouldn't say that. But he knew what he was supposed to do within that offense, and then he took his spots when he needed to running the ball. I thought he played a smart football game. It's a little different deal on the road than at home, but at the same time, they played Cleveland and they played at Chicago, and he fared just fine. Why not take Baltimore? What would stop you from taking Baltimore?
They had 12 defensive players at practice on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You need more than 12 to play a game on defense. My biggest thing is in the last game, Jamar Chase had that 200-yard game against Marlon Humphrey, right?
Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey's not there anymore, right? So what's Chase going to do against the secondary? Probably not a lot. I get the feeling that they're probably going to double Chase a lot, which opens up things for T. Higgins.
Pick your poison.
Right. I like Baltimore here, though, because I can't really pick a team to win, but if I'm getting 3 points, I just feel like this game is going to come down to the last possession, probably come down to the last kick. And I trust Justin Tucker at the end of these games. If it happens to be, a game decided by a field goal, I again, who I'm rooting for in this one, but I kind of think the Ravens are going to cover the spread and win.
I'm with you on this one too. And another guy who had a big game at Baltimore when they played before was CJ Uzomah, the Bengals' big tight end. I think he had 2 touchdown catches in that game, a couple of really big vertical plays in that game. We've talked about T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd won the game for them last week. Isn't it an embarrassment of riches, really, for Joe Burrow at the skill positions with this team? I mean, they have gotten production from everybody this year. But I'm with you. I'm going to take the Ravens, Justin Tucker at the end of the game, and the guy is definitely worth a first-round draft pick. He is. If you're a contender.
All right, our next game. It's the Los Angeles Rams against the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams are 3-point favorites. All right. Gonna get some injury stuff out of the way first. Dalvin Cook is out for this game because he tested positive and he's unvaccinated, which means he's out for the next 10 days. Alexander Madison just came off the COVID list a couple of days ago, so he's in line to start. There's some questions about Kirk Cousins, though, because he's unvaccinated. We'll see if he's a close contact. If he is a close contact, he's going to be out for this game. The Rams have also activated running back Cam Akers for this game, who tore his Achilles in the offseason. We'll see if he's going to play or not, but to get somebody like Cam Akers potentially back on a team that already has a lot of weapons is interesting. I like the Rams in this game, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I do too. This is obviously an extremely important game, and
another good game, by the way. This is a really good game.
Well, we actually have some, which is kind of nice. We've had some real clunkers as of late. It's hard to determine just how good the Rams are. Would you characterize their win over Seattle as impressive?
I think I would, actually. Division games are hard, especially one when you're going up against a combo of Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Those games are never easy. So, yeah, I think it was impressive.
Well, according to your tweets, apparently it was the ref that ruined the game for them.
But do you know which referee that was?
Yes, I know. It was Sean Hockey Lee.
Just get that crew out of there. They just make way too many boneheaded calls. That's all.
Rams are going to have to be a little bit careful here. I mean, I think really the key to this football game is going to be protecting Matt Stafford. That the Vikings pass rush, we talked about this on Tuesday. There's a couple of things the Vikings have done very well this year. Getting after the passer is one of them. If the Rams protect Matt Stafford, I don't see the Vikings winning this game. I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Rams here on the road to win by 4. I'm going to go 28-24 on this. Let's talk over under on this game. I don't think this should be a low one. Vegas should have this somewhere in the very, very low 50s would be my guess. So 49.5, 50.5, 51, somewhere around there.
48.5 to 49, depending on the sports book. And it's actually, listen, I don't mean to ruin the rest of the show, but this is the highest of the week.
Oh, it's not ruining the show. I mean, if you look at the matchups, you could pretty much tell if you know kind of the situations with these teams. Does that feel a little low to you?
It does, because I kind of agree with you. I think like 31-27, 30-24, something like that's going to be our final score.
Yeah, take the over in this game and take the Rams. That's what we're saying. Okay.
All right, next one. Again, another amazing game. It's the Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots. Bills, 2.5-point road underdogs in this game.
You've said it so many times. You think they're a fraud. How do you even my sister-in-law who's clanking over there doesn't agree that the Bills are going to win.
No Cole Beasley in this game, out due to COVID. He's a big part of their passing game, right? So if they can't basically, if they're not going to be able to throw across the middle of the field, and everything's going to be challenged on the outside with J.C. Jackson and McCourty. Man, I don't see how Buffalo moves the ball consistently in this.
Wait, did you just say Jason Jackson?
J.C. Jackson.
Okay, I thought I caught you. I thought it would be our
J.C. Jackson.
Because I've had about 5 good ones so far this year. I'm still way under on the 12 prediction of me saying guys' names, but I thought I had my first one on you. I got excited.
I'm a huge J.C. Jackson fan. He's
Don't you feel like this game? I hate to always be the guy that harps on the run, but I do think it's important. I mean, if just going back a couple of weeks here, we're not going back to early season. The Patriots ran at will, which to me tells me the Bills are going to have to take some chances and run blitz. When you run blitz, it's not too much different than just a normal blitz. It's leaving you with either one safety or potentially a cover 0 back there. And the Patriots have pretty good tight ends. They may not have big numbers this year, but I think they could make them pay with those guys. Mm-hmm. If the Bills sell out to stop the run, you have those delayed releases from the tight ends where they chip like they're going to block on a run play, and you get 20 yards down the seam. Sorry for the super technical football talk, but that to me would be a problem. I think I'm going New England here.
I'm going New England as well in Foxborough. The crowd's going to be loud. They're going to run the ball like crazy, though. And I think they're going to make 2 or 3 big chunk plays in the passing game. I will just say there's going to be a play in this game where somebody for the Patriots, other than Mac Jones, throws a pass, and it's probably going to result in a big play, right? It might, because we've seen this all the time, right? When Bill Belichick needs to win a game and they need a spark on offense, they're going to result in some kind of trickery to move the ball. I think you'll see it at least once in this game.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I got to tell you, one time I'd love to hear you say, I think the crowd's going to be quiet this week. Because you when you say, the crowd's going to be into it, one time I just want you to say, listen, the crowd's going to be totally checked out. Maybe the Jags game?
Yeah, it's this next one. It's this next game. Jags-Jets. The Jags are a half a point underdog in this game. I think the Jets crowd is going to be completely checked out of this one. Who do you like?
Way to lay a turd in my lap there. I think the Jets crowd will probably be checked out as well, but I'm going to have to go with the home team on this one. Now, granted, some of my picks are being made by – you remember how the Houston Astros would bang on the trash can to let them know what pitches are coming? Every time my sister-in-law sounds like she's doing some high-density spray cleaning over there, bangs on pans, it's her way of communicating to me, I think you need to take the home team, So I'm going to take the Jets on this. I don't have a real scientific reason for this. I can't talk matchups, Jets, Jags. You want to talk matchups? We can, but I
will really quickly. The Jets have like 7 of their defensive backs on COVID this week, a number of their defensive linemen. That's why I'm taking Jacksonville. That's really the only reason. How about, speaking of disappointments, we're going to talk about the New York Giants. They are 10-point underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles this week. And some birdies are whispering that Jake Fromm is going to start this game, Elliot.
Why not? Give me a reason. Let's talk about a reason not to do it from an organizational standpoint.
There isn't, right? I mean, Mike Glennon's not the long-term answer. You probably know Jake Fromm's not the long-term answer either. However, he's on a rookie contract, and he's younger and he's cheaper. So if Fromm can prove to be a decent backup, why not? And I actually think he looked okay last week against Dallas in his one drive.
I think he looked better than okay. Yeah. He looked, you know me, I'm a body language guy. Some people don't buy that. Did he look like a deer in the headlights to you when he got out there?
No, and that's probably should be expected, right? Because he started a bunch of games in the SEC. He's been in the NFL for a while. I think he looked competent.
But that's a Cowboys pass rush that knew they didn't really have to respect the run. Right. They're not. Randy Gregory wasn't out there saying, I'm really worried they're going to sneak a Devontae Booker off tackle on me.
Yeah.
I don't like this spread. I don't care that it's Jake Fromm. I don't care it's a road game. The Eagles have been hit or miss all year. They just played a game on a short week. I think you stay away from this. I don't know if Herbert has the red graphic from the deep fathoms, but if you do, Herbert, run it out, because the stay away graphic. Because honestly, I can't. I could not lay my money on this, but please, if you feel confident.
No, I agree with you. I think the Eagles are going to win, but I would stay away from that spread. I do think the Eagles are going to run like crazy, like they have the last 2 months. This just has all the makings of like a, 20 to 13 type of game, right?
I was about to say over under on this is probably 42.5.
I got it right here. Let's pull it up.
That's where I would put it.
40 and a half.
Wow. Okay. I thought they'd have a little more confidence in the Eagles after the way they played, but they may be thinking the same thing I just mentioned, which is, hey, on a short week, these guys might be tired. And the Eagles played on Tuesday night. We're not used to dealing with that. We do the Sunday to Thursday. We don't really talk about the Tuesday to Sunday. Interesting. We'll see how it plays out.
All right, next one, Tampa Bay against Carolina. Tampa Bay is a 10-point road favorite. Matt Rule says that Cam Newton will start, but Sam Darnold will play.
Cam Newton's been really perplexing. I don't know how you feel about that. I haven't seen much that gives me hope that Carolina can score more than 17 points in this game. No. Tampa Bay, while they did lose to New Orleans, their defense did fine. Their defense was fine. Yeah. So I think this is another low over-under game. I think this is a big rebound game for the Bucs. If you're going to lay your money, I'd be inclined, even though we usually say stay away from the division games and it's on the road, I think the Bucs do win by 10. I think at worst you got to push.
I agree. But let's run through Tampa Bay's injuries really quickly, just for those that are maybe not caught up. Chris Godwin out for the year.
Yep.
Mike Evans dealing with a hamstring injury.
Yep.
We'll see if he plays. I think Tampa Bay is going to be careful there. Antonio Brown coming back, so he'll play in this one. Leonard Fournette out for the rest of the regular season due to a hamstring injury. And then Levante David has a foot injury. He is out for the rest of the regular season. So Tampa Bay's got a lot of injuries. I still don't see Tom Brady losing this game. I think they win. I think they bounce back and they cover. Even
if it's 20-10, he's got other weapons.
Yep.
Okay, forget Gronk. Their wide receiver depth chart is actually pretty deep. Cameron Brate's been a really reliable player for that franchise. This might be a game that Brate catches 5 balls for 75 yards and a touch. Gio Bernard has basically been out of the offense because Fournette has emerged as such a good pass catcher. Maybe this is a game that Gio Bernard gets heavily involved.
A lot of Ronald Jones this week, I expect.
Yeah, a lot of Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones runs with some thunder, man. He'll lay some wood, and that can motivate your football team. Again, not analytics talk, more emotional talk, but I buy into that stuff. So I'm going to go with you, or you're going to go with me. I don't know who picked first, but Tampa Bay.
All right, next one. The Los Angeles Chargers, my Los Angeles Chargers against the Houston Texans. Chargers, 10-point road favorites in this one. Got some more injury stuff. Austin Eckler on the COVID list, unlikely to play in this game. Jalen Guyton on the COVID list with their speedster receiver. He is out. Joey Bosa on the COVID list. He's already been ruled out. A lot of injuries. We'll see about Derwin James, who might not play in this one. Does that scare you at all?
I think anytime you're talking about a road team for a team that's been herky-jerky like the Vikings or the Chargers or the Eagles, playoff hopefuls, it doesn't matter who they're playing on the road. And the other issue with the Texans is they've actually had a couple games this year where they've come out and played decent football. Unfortunately, those games have been on the road. The only home game I can think of that Houston played well was against New England about 2 months ago as a loss. It's hard to put any faith in Houston. Let me put it this way. You either lay your money on the Chargers or just stay away. I'm inclined to say stay away. I'm picking the Chargers straight up to win this game. Am I seeing this wrong?
No, I think you're right. I forgot to mention Brandon Cooks tested positive for COVID on Wednesday. Remains to be seen if he's going to play in this game. If he doesn't play, I actually feel better about the Chargers minus 10 because how are they going to move the ball on offense without Brandon Cooks? I just don't see it. But it's probably another stay away. That's just too many points for a road team.
But you know what would happen with Brandon Cooks? This would be so Brandon Cooks. He misses the next few games. In the last game of the year, he gets 153 yards to hit his standard 1,100-yard season. It's like
that's coming.
Whatever. He's unflappable, that guy.
All right. The next game is two of the most disappointing teams in the NFC, the Chicago Bears against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 6.5-point home favorites.
Yeah, well, I understand why. I mean, if you watch the Bears offense, I could see why they would do this, but you know what? Ain't no way I'm taking Seattle with that high spread. I'll take Chicago here. I'll take Seattle to win the game. But no, am I wrong? Is Seattle going to win by 7? Yeah. I don't think so. I think the Bears defense is too good.
I'm taking Seattle to win and cover, actually. Chicago's secondary has been decimated with injuries. I know they played well against Minnesota, but they're also coming off a short week. Same with Seattle. It's hard to play in Seattle. I think Tyler Lockett's going to be back to this game. It just feels like this is the week that Seattle at least bounces back somewhat on offense.
You might get me on this one, but I'm not going to change my pick. I do have one game. I think I might do my every other week defer to Marcus on a pick, which is gone against me every time.
Well, but let's do this next one then. Let's do this next game.
Yep.
Pittsburgh Steelers against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, this is so hard.
Let's start with where this line was on Sunday night. The Chiefs were 10.5 to 11-point favorites. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill goes on the COVID list. It moves down to 9. Travis Kelce goes on the COVID list. It moves down to 7.5. And that's what I sent our guys here at Briggs TV. 7.5. I just looked. It's at 8.5 now. No update on Travis Kelce. No update on Tyreek Hill. It does seem like they're getting some of the other guys back. Where are you leaning here?
I'm leaning Steelers.
To cover the spread or win?
Not for the win, but to cover this spread. For several reasons. I actually think Pittsburgh's defense, all in all, has played pretty well. Some clutch plays on Sunday. Look, when you're talking about the Chiefs, okay. if you took Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith off the 93 Cowboys, they're not the 93 Cowboys.
No.
You know, where else do you want to go?
Well, here's the thing. Can the Chiefs, let's say those guys are out. Can the Chiefs win this game based on their running game and their defense? Can they score 17 points on offense and keep Pittsburgh under 15?
Absolutely. They could win 17-14, but we're talking about an 8.5 point spread here. I mean, if you take John Taylor and Jerry Rice off the 49ers, they're not still the 49ers, you know? It's just one of those things. I mean, these are two elite players. Kansas City's defense, though, I hate to say they're a top 5 unit, but if you went just off of the last month and a half, they absolutely are. Well, I don't think it's even debatable.
And this is what I would say. They are, I'll even go further, Elliot. I think they're a top 3 defense when Chris Jones is on the field playing defensive tackle. He didn't play against the Chargers, and you noticed it, right? Like they just didn't have any pass rush in the middle of the field. When he's healthy and playing defensive tackle, they're one of the best teams in the league on that side of the ball.
Yeah, maybe no Freiermuth for Pittsburgh in this game. We might be without both tight ends.
Second concussion in 3 weeks. Yep.
You hate to see that, man. You hate to see that. That guy's had a nice year. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'm sticking to it. I'm going to go Pittsburgh to cover this. I'm going to go Kansas City to win the game outright because they're at home. What say you?
I bet on Pittsburgh to win when the spread was at 10.5. So I think you know where I'm leaning here. I just Pittsburgh's got a really unique opportunity to, if they can win 2 of their next 3 games, to win the AFC North and host a playoff game. And with the Chiefs not having Kelsey, not having Tyreek Hill, I think their defense is going to keep them in this game. I like Pittsburgh to win. I really do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's totally fair. Let's go to the next game, though. I'm a little Steeler talked out. I'm sorry.
All right. No. This next one, it does not sound great, but it's actually very, very important. It's the Denver Broncos against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, you bet it's important.
The Broncos are 1-point favorites. Now, Teddy Bridgewater out for this game due to a concussion. Drew Lock is starting. So I looked at some of the numbers before this game. The loser will, for all intents and purposes, be eliminated from the playoff hunt in the AFC. The winner will have a 33% chance to make the playoffs. Now, you might not think 33% chance is very good, but considering how the last 2 months have gone for these two teams, it's really not that bad, right? A 1 1/3 chance to make the playoffs. An absolutely huge, huge game here.
I couldn't agree more. I think this is the kind of game that people don't first of all, I think the Broncos have been kind of underrated all season. I don't think anyone's really thought of them as a playoff team. The Raiders have been up and down for various reasons. Mm-hmm. Now, you remember the Raiders went in after the John Gruden firing, and they beat the Broncos in Denver in a big game for them, a really big game for their organization as a whole. Can they do it again? Well, they're at home, but they looked terrible. They looked terrible Monday. And I mean, I know Drew Lock is not a great quarterback, but do I think he can play serviceably? I do. Really, to me, this is a game that the Broncos defense is going to have to go in and impose their will. And they've been solid, Marcus, all year, regardless of the opponent. They did a number on the Chargers. So do you have enough faith in the Raiders, given that you cover that team, that they can win this game outright?
All right, here's what I'll say. And I've been saying this all week on all the other shows and on Raiders Wire. It's which team do you trust to get to 17 points first? Because I really feel like that's where we're heading. The Raiders have not scored. The Raiders have scored over 17 points once in their last 7 games, and it was that game against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Other than that, the offense has been completely shut out. But the Broncos haven't been all that much different. Like when the Broncos have played good teams, they've really struggled to score. So which team do you trust the most to get to 17 points in this one?
One thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see Josh Jacobs have a big-time game, just a big-time game. Yeah. Slow down the pass rush. I think he's a much better player than we've seen. And I know he's been, he's played a lot of games this year. It seems like at 75% of really what he is. I think the bigger problem is I think the Raiders are going to be without Darren Waller again.
They are.
That's
he was
the
a big
biggest
part
problem
of it. Yeah, he had a huge game the last time they played. This one's tricky for me, Elliot. It really is.
But it's Lock. That's the problem. It's Lock. If it were Bridgewater,
that's exactly right. If it's Bridgewater, I'm taking Denver all day long. Lock had 4 interceptions in their meeting last year when they played. Like, he just does not play well in these games. I think the Raiders have like one of the best special teams units in the NFL with AJ Cole and Daniel Carlson. Can they make like 4 short field goals in this game and win? I could see it. I think I'm taking the Raiders here.
I was watching the game and my brother was kind of hovering around, and I said, listen, man, maybe 48-yard kick, but it's hard to make a 48-yard kick on the road when your team's played bad.
With the
didn't have a
there.
Timeout called that you weren't even aware it was called out. Called.
He's just a good kicker.
And then go back and line up and kick it again. You know, I'm going to go Raiders. Obviously, Raiders to cover here. It's 1 point line. I'm going to trust Derek Carr. I've talked about him being clutch. This is a game to be clutch. Look, the Raiders are going to miss the playoffs. They are. But this win would give them a chance. So there we go.
Yeah, their next 2 games are home against the Colts and then at the Chargers. And, I mean, they're probably going to lose those 2. But they're not impossible games for them to win. It's not like, you know, they're going to be huge underdogs in any of them. So we'll see.
This is another game, by the way, that should be 42.5 or lower. There's
42?
No way it's over that.
42.
Okay.
By the way, that I think is our best Sunday slate of the season. Like, there's like 6 really good games in there that I can't wait to watch.
There's no clunkers. I think Jags Jets is going to be a lot of fun. Of course, I'll be watching that with a cool, refreshing Dole pineapple juice. You bet.
All right. Our Sunday night game, and I can't believe the NFL didn't flex this one out of here. It's the Washington football team against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys 10.5-point favorites. Do you really
need me to explain to you why?
No, because it's going to get monster ratings. It's just
it's an excuse game. That's what I would call it.
But you know how much better this would be if this was Ravens Bengals. I'm just saying.
Right, but it's an excuse game. They know the Cowboys are going to draw. And I'm not saying this like I like this. I don't.
No, it's just the truth, right? It's just the truth.
It's the truth. And because there's this glimmer of hope that Washington, if a million things happen, you can play this as, hey, this has got major playoff implications.
I think that's why the schedule makers going into the year thought, hey, a Week 16 matchup between the NFC East team that won the division last year and the Dallas Cowboys, sure, we'll take that.
You bet. It's tough to go with Washington here. Obviously, that line is really, really high. Washington is going to have some players back, so that should make some difference. And
they also lost some players, though. William Jackson, corner, got hurt.
That's a big one for them.
On Tuesday. Cole Holcomb, the linebacker that intercepted Dak Prescott, he was put on the COVID list on Wednesday.
Oh, I'm aware of the play.
Taylor Heineke back.
Do you root for William Jackson because you root for the Bengals so hard? Do you root for ex-Bengals?
I do like William Jackson. He was a guy that I liked a lot in the 2016 draft. So I don't mind William Jackson.
Would you say that was one of the more underreported big signings?
I think he got the appropriate amount of buzz. He's been a good corner for a few years now. So
we don't have a lot of good corners in the NFL. That's why I'm saying that. This spread scares me.
It scares me too. The last game was a 7-point game. This just feels like 23-13 or 23-14, something like that, right?
I think there's better games for you to bet on. Now, if you're betting for fun and you just want to have a little bit of juice on this game, my advice would be to look at the over-under on this. The Cowboys' offense has sputtered. It's been, what would you say, middling at best? Mm-hmm. They haven't been awful. Just middling. Washington's offense, we know. Actually, Garrett Gilbert did not play bad football.
No, he didn't.
For them. What's the over-under on this game? I'm too tired to guess.
On Washington, Dallas, it's 46.5.
Oh, I actually was going to guess 45.5, but I would have been off.
All right,
would you do it?
No, I would not do it.
You'd stay away from everything on this.
Stay away from everything.
Okay, that's fine with me.
I want to get to this Monday night game because this is just the kind of the world that we're living in now. So when I sent over the updated lines this morning, as you can see on our screen, it was Dolphins +3.
Yeah.
Since sending those in, Trevor Siemian on the COVID list now, Taysom Hill on the COVID list now, and the Dolphins going from 3-point underdogs to now 2-point favorites on the road in New Orleans.
So what do you make of the Saints quarterback situation?
It's Ian Book, a fourth-round rookie from Notre Dame.
Who hasn't played at all. I will say this. Doesn't this feel like a game that Sean Payton would want to win so bad just to show like, hey, listen, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Not that QBs don't matter, but this is a pride game, an organizational pride game. You're playing for the playoffs. You're at home. Any part of you want to take the Saints?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love watching the Saints defense, but you know how much I've been loving watching this Miami team over the last couple of months. For me, I probably would lean the Saints here, especially now that they're home dogs and you get a little bit of value. But yeah, that's incredible. Kid, I want you to guess this over under
39.5.
You are too high, sir.
What is it?
37.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen an over under lower than that, but
good. Okay, so listen, we're going to put that one in our tease that we're going to do here in a second. I'll explain to you how they were going to do that. But
Miami to win this game straight up?
No, I think I'll take the Saints still.
I'm going to take Miami. I want to take the Saints, but this is too much to bear, I think, for them. And I respect the way Tua has been playing. He lays it on the line. I know he hasn't been great, but I think he's been better than people realize. And the kid plays super hard. And Miami has won 6 games in a row. Okay, there is a point where you have to give a little bit of respect. I don't care who you are. It is hard to win 6 games in a row in the NFL, period. Because Marcus, in this league, sorry, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with Miami. I'm not touching that over under. I'm not touching it. They're probably right.
It's just such a dumb line. All right, let's talk through some of these bets. What's your favorite pick of the week? Your $10,000 pick?
I need to think about this a little bit. You know, as you know, I wait for you. I don't ever look at the lines, so I like to be organically surprised on some of these. I went with San Francisco last week, and we actually liked the under last week, and we liked the line, and that both hit. I couldn't decide. What was the final score of the game? Was it 30-13?
It was 30-13, which just happened. So, not to brag, but that's the score that I predicted.
I think it was. I was about to say, I think I predicted 30-10, and you predicted 30-13.
No, you predicted 31-13.
31-13. Okay.
Yeah.
So
we were both pretty doggone close on that one. Yeah,
for sure. So that brought me to 7-2 on the $10,000 picks, but you don't get a decent record without really thinking about it. And I need to think about this. I also think I'm going to change my mind on a pick. You changed my mind on a pick.
Okay.
Jaguars, Jets.
You're not betting on that game, are you really?
I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars on that straight up.
All right.
When you talk about losing guys on your front and your secondary to COVID, you might be able to manage one of those two, but don't you feel like and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the Jags here, okay, but don't you feel like there's going to be a game where we see Trevor Lawrence and say, wow, now we can see the Andrew Luck comparison in terms of this may be the most talented guy to come out at QB position since Andrew Luck.
Yep, it's coming, without a doubt.
This might be that game, or maybe not, but I'm waiting to see that. And remember when they lost to the Rams, and now I'm turning this into Jags talk. I apologize. I told you they have pieces, Marcus. It's just a matter of putting them all together. You know, this team is going to be one of my teams that's going to be most improved for next year, depending on what they do in their.
I can't wait to talk about them in the offseason. Like their coaching stuff, all the cap space they have, the draft picks. They're going to be a lot of fun to talk about.
And get Etienne back.
Yeah.
They've been without their first round pick the entire season. So I don't know what you thought about him coming out, but this is an off-season chat. Either way, I'm changing my mind. I'm going with Marcus. If I lose this, guys, please let him know. Not me.
All right. So while you think of your $10,000 bet, let's just run through all the games really quickly.
Sure.
Just on the record. 49ers against the Titans. We both like the 49ers to win and cover.
Correct.
Packers, Browns. We both like the Packers to win and cover, although I think you're a little bit more cautious about that spread, right?
Sure. Absolutely. What is it? 8.5 on that one. Yeah. Okay.
Colts, Cardinals. Colts are 1 point road underdogs. We both like the Cardinals to win and cover.
Maybe
Falcons,
the game
Lions.
of the week.
Yeah. Falcons, Lions. I like the Falcons to win and cover. You like the Lions straight up. That's going to be a fun game. Ravens, Bengals. We both like the Ravens to win and cover this week, or at least to cover. That's going to be a really close game. It's really hard to pick. Next one.
Line on the Lions at Atlanta was 5.5, right?
Yes.
That they're underdogs. So, yeah, obviously cover and win straight up.
Yep.
Just wanted to point that out. Extra confidence. Sorry. I'm just trying to pump it up. Okay.
Rams, Vikings. We both like the Rams to cover and win. Bills, Patriots. We both like the Bills to win and cover. Jags, Jets.
I don't like the Bills to win and cover.
Sorry, I mean Patriots. We both like the Patriots to win and cover. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me on that one.
No worries.
Yep. We like the Patriots there. Jags, Jets. We both like the Jags to win and cover. Giants, Eagles. We both like the Eagles to win, but please stay away from that spread. That's just a dangerous spread. Panthers, Bucks. That's a big spread, but we like the Bucks to actually win and cover that one. Chargers, Texans. Another spread that we're staying away from, but we like the Chargers to win outright. Bears, Seahawks. I like the Seahawks to win and cover. You like the Bears to cover, but the Bears to cover, but Seattle to win.
Correct.
Steelers, Chiefs. I like the Steelers to win outright and obviously cover. You like the Steelers to cover, but the Chiefs to win.
Yes, Butker for the win.
Butker's actually out for this game due to COVID. But
I did not know that.
Yeah,
is that right?
That is right.
Did he just test, or is he certain he's absolutely out?
He's unvaccinated, tested positive earlier this week. For 10 days. Do you want to change your pick?
No.
Okay. Broncos, Raiders, a game that I
only change picks on Jags.
Yeah,
Jets,
it's fine.
bro. I mean,
Broncos, Raiders, a really hard game to pick. I think I'm taking the Raiders. You're leaning Broncos?
No, I'm going to take the Raiders here. I just bragged about the Broncos defense all that time, and then I went with the Raiders because there's a point that you made.
That seems like a very Marcus Mosher thing to do, by the way.
Yeah, I think you can't ignore Drew Lock's giveaways last week.
True.
You just can't.
Cowboys, Washington. We both like the Cowboys to win, but stay away from that spread because that's a lot. Yep. Dolphins, Saints. I like the Saints to cover and win. I think you do as well.
Yes. Okay. No, I like the Dolphins to win this one. I changed.
Oh, I thought. See, okay, you got to be confused because you kept going. This is like a culture win for Sean Payton.
I just know that he wants that, and that's what he wants. But I wouldn't allow myself to do it. Now, there was one game that I really thought we should go the over on, as well as it was Rams Vikings. I think you should look at the over on that game, everybody. I think the over under on that was 48.5, and that sounded awfully low to me.
All right, so I want to come back to that game. So this is my teaser of the week. This is a 10-point teaser, which some sports bets or sports books allow you to do. Hey, sportsbook, come sponsor our show. We've got the Steelers and the Packers on a 10-point tease, which means we're moving that line 10 points, and we were going to add something else to get it to even odds. So our new updated line is Steelers plus 18.5 against the Chiefs. The Packers plus 2.5 against the Browns. And then I want you to choose this last one. Which one do you like better?
And how far do I get to move the line?
10 points. You ready? I got two options for you.
Yeah.
Under 47.5 in Dolphins Saints. Do you like that? Or over 39 in Rams Vikings.
Second one.
That's kind of where I was leaning as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. I like that a lot, actually. That's one of in terms of the $10,000 pick, what I would bet $10,000 on and not worry about it. That's one of them. The over in the Vikings Rams is one of my candidates. Another one of my candidates is the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover. In that game, it's an 8.5.
That's quite a bit.
Yep. Right now, which you might want to jump on right now if you're betting on this, because there's a chance that could go back the other way. Given the movement on it, right? It was way up, then it went down, and then back up again.
I think there's also a chance, like, let's say one of Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill, they test out of the COVID protocols. My guess is that line probably moves back up to 9.5. So there might be some value in waiting here as well.
That's a good point. It's just how often has that been happening?
Well, it's true, but they have changed the protocols now where all you need is one negative test to test out of this.
Right.
Travis Kelce tested positive on Monday.
But isn't that only if you're vaccinated?
Both those guys are.
Okay. Right.
So the benefit here of Kelsey's test was early, and this game is in Kansas City. So theoretically, Kelsey could test negative on Sunday morning, right? Be activated before the game and be out there ready to play.
So I'm just telling you what some of my ideas here are: New England to win outright, Pittsburgh to cover, the over on the Vikings Rams. These are the lines that I heard that I like the best. Trying to think if there's anything else that really moves me. Those are the three that stuck out to me. Anything stick out to you?
I'm a little bit safer when it comes to these big bets. I would just take the Packers to win outright over the Browns. I just don't see any way that the Packers lose this game. It's in Lambeau on Christmas Day. The other kind of underrated storyline here is like the Packers need to win this game in order to keep pace for the number 1 seed. If they lose, all of a sudden they drop down to the 3rd seed. So it's not a game where the Packers can really mess around. And then on top of that, Aaron Rodgers has got to know that the MVP is up for grabs, right? And if he has a big game in prime time, he probably is going to win the award. So I just think there's a lot of things going in Green Bay's favor here.
There's 2 things that I didn't share with you. So I do this every week in my mind. There's the game that's like, man, this would be a good $10,000 pick, but I just don't want to root for this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I know you shouldn't do that. You should just say, hey, this is a big bet. You play the money. And I'm pretty good about that. I really don't want the Browns to lose like that.
I agree with you. I wouldn't make that bet either because I'm going to be rooting for Cleveland so hard.
But in all honesty, if I had to pick the 2 safest bets in my mind this week, it's Green Bay and it's New England. Those are the 2 safest. Over under, I feel safe picking over under, but that's me. I don't think most people feel safe picking over unders, not with their big bets. Maybe they're fun ones. The other game that is really, really enticing to me on this list, I'm kind of laughing as I say this because it really would take some guts, is the Lions. Oh gosh, I want it so bad. I want to lay big money on the Lions. Hey man, I'm telling you.
I understand. I got a bet for you. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What if we do this, right?
Okay.
We take out the Packers, right? We go Patriots, Bucks money line, right? So those 2 teams need to win.
Okay.
A $10,000 bet would win you. It would win you $11,000. So a profit of $11,000.
Done. I'll do that.
Let's do that.
You know what? You know why I'll do that? Because then I don't have to root against the Browns.
Right.
So
that's fun. I like that.
Patriots, but I told a little bit of a white lie. On our Friday gambling strategy podcast. And I told you one of the advantages I have is that when I'll pick anything. I will pick Jags Jets and go $10,000 if I feel like that's the best thing. Yeah, what I didn't mention is if there's a game where I really don't want a team to lose.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, I get it.
Yeah. One last question for you. I just kind of want to circle back to I said Colts Cardinals the game of the weekend. Honestly, the game I might be most excited for is 49ers Titans. But I find 49ers Titans really difficult to bet on. And that's just why I'm kind of avoiding it for the $10,000 pick discussion because it's Thursday night.
Yep.
And we've talked ad nauseum about how hard that is to predict, but I just don't see how Tennessee is going to win this football game. I don't think the 49ers are going to give them cheapies. And if the 49ers don't give them any cheapies, you limit Jimmy Garoppolo's pass attempts. Garoppolo's mobile. I like his mobility here against the Titans. I just, unless you're going the under, I don't see a way that Tennessee is going to win this game. Am I crazy?
I agree with you. However, the Titans have done this before. Like they've just beat up teams like the Rams and the Chiefs with their defensive line. So there's a chance that they could do it and just create a bunch of turnovers. But I think for the most part, I agree with you.
In that game, are we missing any big injuries? I know Julio Jones could play. Obviously, A.J. Brown's been out. Derrick Henry, they're just
the 3 right tackles. The 3 right tackles for the Titans are all out.
The 49ers defensive line has played really good football as of late.
Yep.
I $10,000 bet on a Thursday night game.
No, you can't. I won't let you do it. I won't.
All right, let's do your idea about moving the money line. I like that. I'm changing my pick on the Jags, but you and I still differ on several of these.
Yeah, should be a fun
Should be
week.
interesting to see what happens, especially that Miami Saints game. That's a game. I know it's an Elliott Harrison special, but I think
No. That's a good game. That's a good game. Those are two teams still fighting for the playoffs, right? Two teams with 7 wins. Both the schedule's pretty easy the rest of the way for the Dolphins and the Saints. So that's a good Monday night game.
Can I tell you, like, I think this is a good podcast, but if anyone wanted to say, man, what a crap podcast, here would be some reasons why. One, that Marcus and I are rooting hard for the Browns and Bengals. And the team we're most excited about to talk about in the offseason are the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think those would be 3 reasons right there. Yeah.
That's also, to flip it on you, that's also why we're the best podcast, right? We just don't stick with the mainstream teams like the Cowboys and the Packers and Steelers. We're talking about every team. It's a power ranking show. We cover all 32 teams.
You bet on you bet on Pittsburgh when it was 10.5, didn't you?
Yeah. The moment the line was available, I did. Not on 10.5. I bet them on the money line, which was 3-1. So pretty good odds there.
You know, I was worried about Pittsburgh going back down and taking these points right now in case it went back down to like 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I like your idea of, hey, now wait a minute, because both players are vaccinated. And we mentioned at the top of the podcast, the NFL changed its protocol with COVID last week. Gosh, if Tyreek comes back, that's a big, that opens up the entire field. It makes you defend, as you like to say, every blade of grass, having him out there. I don't think that Nicole Hardman does the same thing.
No. And Byron Pringle doesn't either. So
come on, man.
That's it for our show today, Elliot.
Yeah.
We got to go. We got to go do Christmas stuff, man. We got to go watch Christmas movies, wrap presents and everything, right?
All right. I was going to give you the last words.
That's
so
it.
We didn't end on Nicole Hardman. So
Merry Christmas,
anyway,
everybody.
He's at Marcus_Mosher. I'm at Harrison NFL. We will see you on Tuesday. Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Browns.